Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, and we're talking about the subclasses of the Rogue. Rogues have gotten quite a boost in the new Player's Handbook. The community wasn't super happy that their sneak attack wasn't buffed in power, but the cunning strikes they've got, the extra utility that their class is affording them, the weapon masteries, which just makes every martial better in combat, all of this has risen the rogue's stock. Maybe not as much as the other classes, but I value skill checks and utility powers quite a lot in my games. Today we're going to just continue the trend of the community being disappointed, and we're going to talk about the assassin. The assassin rogue is quite a powerful archetype. Usually when people picture rogues, they're either picturing assassins or thieves. And in the old days, the assassin had one of the most circumstantial powers. Back in 2014, the assassin could auto-crit on a creature that was surprised in combat. Back in the old days, surprise was something that if the DM granted you, you got an extra round in combat. Basically, a round of initiative would happen as normal, but any surprised creatures would get to their point in the initiative count, and if they were surprised, they would just skip their turn and then lose the surprise condition after that. It effectively meant that you got a free turn, which is huge. But now surprise doesn't work like that. Surprise has completely been changed. Now, when a creature is surprised in combat, it just simply has disadvantage on its initiative checks. After looking over the new monster manual, initiative is a huge buff. The late game monsters have got like plus 15 to 20 on their initiative rolls. It's wildly strong. And even in the mid tier, like, you're going to be struggling to beat initiative if you don't build for it. What is the assassin going to do to help get around that? And how have their features changed now that surprise doesn't do what it used to do? We'll get into the details in just a moment. Before we do, though, I'd like to let you know Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter. Also, you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. And finally, you get to hang out in the VIP room in the community Discord. The Discord's open for anyone to join, but if you're a channel member, you can come into the VIP room, chat directly to me, ask about D&D, YouTube, whatever you like, really. If any of that interests you, you can click the join button. It's just down there next to the subscribe button. And if it doesn't interest you, that's fine too. Just hanging out here on the channel, watching the video, liking, subscribing. These are all great ways to support me. So thank you for watching my content here on YouTube. At level 3, rogues choose their subclass, and as an assassin, you get 2 features straight away. First of all, the Assassinate feature. Firstly, it grants you advantage on your initiative rolls. That's awesome. Advantage on initiative is a powerful thing. Also, during the first round of combat, you have automatic advantage on attacks against any creature that hasn't taken a turn yet. And if you hit a creature with a sneak attack during that first round of combat, the target will take extra damage equal to your rogue level. Your rogue level is 3 right now, so you're increasing your sneak attack damage by like 50%, because the average damage of sneak attack is 2d6 at this one, that's 7. You're adding 3 to 7. Next level, it would be adding 4 to 7. So it's not a giant damage boost, and it only happens on the first round of combat. This isn't a round-over-round thing. It does mean, because you have advantage on initiative and advantage on those attacks as long as you go before a creature does, it does mean that you're likely going to get your sneak attack off in the first round of combat. But the damage boost is really paltry. It's not that good. The thing that really amazes me here is that advantage on initiative. I can't personally imagine building an assassin rogue without taking the alert feat, because of how important it is that you win initiative. So you get to, if you take alert as your origin feat, you get to add your proficiency bonus to your initiative rolls, and you can grant yourself advantage here at level 3. the assassin's gonna go first in combat most of the time. Like, it's gonna take a really good enemy, a really fast enemy to beat them. But yeah, the damage doesn't like I if this gave you like twice your rogue level in damage, or did something bigger than just your rogue level, I'd be more impressed. Or if you could do it every turn, if you could just add your rogue level to your sneak attack damage from here till the end of the game, that'd be amazing. I don't even think that would be overpowered. That would just be really, really strong. As it stands, I'm going to give this feature 9 out of 10. I would have given the damage alone like 6, but advantage on initiative is really good. And just automatic advantage on your first turn, assuming you beat initiative, that's good. That's good. So I'm going to give this 9 out of 10 overall. The other thing you get at level 3 is Assassin's Tools. You get proficiency in the Disguise Kit and the Poisoner's Kit, and you get a pair. So as part of gaining this subclass, you just get a couple sets of tools. Now, a lot of people think that tools are undervalued and or aren't very powerful. I think they're undervalued. I think that, especially in this new book, I looked into, for this video specifically, what these things can do. A disguise kit lets you craft a costume. That makes sense, right? Well, it says in the description of adventuring gear that a costume, when worn, gives you advantage on any social check you make to pass off as the person you're disguised as. Not to mention, as a single action, with a DC 10 check, I think, you can apply makeup, which already, one action, and you can just and suddenly you look a bit different. And if you have a costume that you've already crafted, now you have advantage on passing off as someone else. This is real Sherlock Holmesy. The other thing is the Poisoner's Kit. Again, poison was not a really, really well balanced, flushed out system. It was kind of weak. Now, you can detect poisons with a Poisoner's Kit, which is nice, or you can craft poisons. And a basic poison that you just keep in your inventory as a bonus action can be applied to a weapon or a few pieces of ammunition. Assassins like to be ranged combatants, so that helps. So you can apply this to a few pieces of ammunition, and then when you hit a creature with that weapon or ammo, they take an extra d4 in poison damage. Now, that's not much, but it's potentially on 3 attacks, because you could douse 3 arrows in this or 3 crossbow bolts. If you're a ranged assassin, for a single bonus action, you have added 3d4 to your damage for the next few rounds. It's not a lot of explosive damage, but it will build up over time as long as you can afford to keep crafting more poisons. So you're getting a bit of extra damage. Honestly, I think this is more damage than the Assassinate feature would give, weirdly. And you're getting advantage on social checks if you're trying to disguise yourself. I think that these are both good. I honestly think that this is a similar, albeit a little more convoluted, answer to Assassinate. You're adding damage and you're giving advantage on an important skill check, as opposed to Assassinate, which is adding damage and giving you advantage on initiative rolls. I think this is 9 out of 10 as well. I think these are both valuable tools that will absolutely add to your rogue's arsenal, and is about as good as the Assassinate feature. I don't know, advantage on initiative is really good, but overall I think these are great. Level 9. Rogues don't get anything after level 3 until we reach level 9, so, I hope you're enjoying your sneak attack buff. You get infiltration expertise. First of all, as long as you've heard or you've studied a creature for 1 hour, you can perfectly mimic their speech or their handwriting, or both, if you've seen both. This is a very specific ability, and it's a shame it takes a full hour. The actor feat, I think, lets you do it in a minute. But handwriting could come in handy in very specific situations. But that's not the big feature. That's the ribbon. The big feature is roving aim. At level 3, I think it is, rogues get the ability called steady aim. They can use their bonus action and sacrifice all of their move speed for the turn to automatically give themselves advantage on their next attack. handy for triggering sneak attack. With Infiltration Expertise, your speed isn't reduced to 0 by using steady aim. That's right, the Assassin Rogue is honestly one of the most maneuverable rogues on the battlefield, because they can just bonus action, steady aim, and still move. So instead of sacrificing a bonus action and movement for advantage, you're just sacrificing a bonus action for advantage. Which is really good. Just bonus action, advantage, no problem, every turn, unless you're doing something else with your bonus action. And usually when rogues do something with their bonus action, it's to either grant them advantage, like using the hide action, for example, or, getting out of danger with dash or disengage. Like, they have a lot of stuff they can do with their bonus action. This might be the best thing. Auto advantage, just for a bonus action. That's really, really strong, and it allows you to maneuver like normal. So I give Infiltration Expertise 10 out of 10. That ribbon feature is whatever. Like, if it comes up, it comes up, and it's going to be awesome. But I value social and skill checks in D&D, and even I think that's a little mid. But Roving Aim is just that good. It's going to make you one of the best rogues at getting your sneak attack by far. Now, at level 13, you get Envenom weapons, and this is quite specific. When you use the poison option of the Cunning Strike feature, the target will also take 2d6 poison damage if it fails the save, and this ignores resistance to poison damage. Now we have to talk about Cunning Strike. Cunning Strike at level 5 lets you sacrifice a sneak attack die, one of the d6s, in order to get an additional effect. The poison effect lets a creature make a Constitution save, but it is against your dexterity-based DC. So this will work really well if you're an archer or, if you're a finesse-based fighter, which most rogues are. You sacrifice a d6, and they make a con save. If they fail the save, they get the poisoned condition, which gives them disadvantage on their attacks and ability checks, which is powerful. That's a good feature to have just by itself. This says that if they fail the save, they then take 2d6 poison damage. So you're sacrificing a d6 of damage for a chance, a decent chance at that, to both grant the target disadvantage and deal 2d6 more damage to them. That's really good. That means that, if you trust your dexterity-based saves and you're not fighting enemies that have got great con saves, which it depends on the enemies, you're just trading 1d6 damage for 2d6 damage plus a rider. That's good. It's not always going to work. There's going to be times when you've just no, this creature's immune to poison damage and the poisoned condition, so I can't do anything. And at that point, you don't have a 13th level feature. But outside of those specific situations, which, will come up plenty in the game, unless you're fighting in a campaign that's full of creatures that are immune to poison, this is going to be good. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. I think that it is worth 9 out of 10, assuming that you've really pumped your dex to the max at this point. Finally, at level 17 comes the power Death Strike. This says that when you hit a creature with your sneak attack on the first round of combat, so again, this is a first round only power, the creature can make a con save, so once again, we're targeting Constitution, against your dexterity, so again, we're using our best stat more than likely. If they fail, that attack that did the sneak attack deals double damage. This greatly resembles the old assassin's auto crit power that they would do against surprised enemies. It's just now it's coming online at 17th level, so it's not, going to be as relevant. But don't forget, at this level, your sneak attack is like, what is it now? 8 or 9 d8. And if you, use the poison option of Cunning Strike, you're adding 2d6 poison damage, which would also be doubled because it's from the same attack. I think that this is good, not great. Once again, it's doing the same thing that Assassinate did. It's adding damage, but this time it's adding meaningful damage to your first round. So as an Assassin Rogue, you've poisoned your weapon or granted yourself advantage with your bonus action, but you won't need that on the first round of combat. So you're poisoning your weapon, and then you're hitting the first target that hasn't gone in combat that you can see or that's close or that's a priority target. As long as you hit them, they fail, I guess, 2 con saves now, and they're taking a boatload of damage, and they're gonna get the poisoned condition as well. This is good. Like you're doing good stuff, and an auto crit, even at level 17, is powerful. You're doing a lot of damage with your sneak attack. Doubling it matters. I think that because you've got, advantage on initiative and you've got probably the alert feat, which is buffing your, like, mathematically speaking, advantage adds like a +5 or so to a skill. With the advantage and your proficiency bonus, which is +6 by now, you've got a +11 to your initiative before you even take dex into consideration. If you've maxed your dex, which you should have, then you've got a +16 to your initiative rolls. That's rivaling boss monsters at this level. So as long as you do good on your roll, you're gonna go first, and you're gonna deal a crit automatically. That's what double damage would be. Imagine if you did crit. Imagine if you had like the lucky feat or something. Well, I guess you wouldn't have that because you already have advantage. I guess, yeah. Anyway, heroic inspiration. How about that? You're a human rogue. The point is that I think this is good. I think this is worth 9 out of 10. It's not broken by any means, and it's weird that they took the level 3 feature and pushed it to level 17, basically. But I still think it's good. So I'm giving it 9 out of 10. And overall, I think the Assassin's 9 out of 10. You've got good utility with your Disguise kit. You've got a lot of combat powers with your Poisoner's kit and your advantage on initiative. You're dealing a little extra damage with your Poison Cunning Strike. That roving aim thing from Infiltration Expertise is honestly my favorite feature from the Assassin. It's a shame it doesn't come on until level 9, but it's still great. And eventually, you get to crit once per combat, as long as you go first in initiative. I genuinely think that the Assassin's fine. It's not overpowered. I think a lot of folks like the old Assassin because it was a great dip. 3 levels in Rogue, you got Expertise, Cunning Action, and then the Assassinate feature. Now Assassin, you might want to stick with. Get up to level 9 so you can Cunning Action, or not Cunning Action, Steady Aim without losing your movement. And then keep going, honestly. Envenom Weapons is fine. Death Strike is fine, even in the late game. I think there's nothing wrong with the Assassin. It's not overpowered, and it certainly isn't as dip-friendly. Advantage on initiative's okay. But yeah, like if you're gonna stick with Rogue and you're gonna kind of see it through to the end, I think you do worse than Assassin. I'm gonna give the subclass 9 out of 10. I think that it doesn't deserve the hate it's getting. I think people are so focused on just how dippable it was, how 3 levels of Rogue could give you auto crits, and optimizers, loved that. It's not optimizer friendly like it used to be, but it's good, and it has a lot of utility features that have been buffed. Yeah, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. I'm happy with it. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.